for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. You heard the man. It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. We'll be talking to Blake coming up here in just a second. A lot of contact numbers for you to get in touch with Blake because you're going to hear a lot of great information in the next 30 minutes. When you do, you might say, I need to know more about that. How do we get in touch with that guy? Well, call Blake at Sloan Realty Group at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or you can go online to the website at blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. Easy stuff to remember, but in case you didn't get it down this time, we'll repeat that several times in the next 30 minutes. Time now to get the show started. Let's bring him in. Here's Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Got an awesome show. And real quick, what Dave said there too, I had a client, actually a listener, reach out to us, Bob. So shout out to Bob out there. He said to remind everyone on the show that there's a couple of different Sloan Realties.
Right.
We're Sloan Realty Group, so make sure blakesloan.com. I guess there's one like in North Carolina right across the line.
Oh, really?
With an E on the end, so that's not me, but it has all these bad reviews and stuff. So he's like, there's this one. I was like, what? And so obviously I remember I never looked it up, but they do like a lot of rentals and stuff. So long story short, blakesloan.com,
Right.
Anytime there is a couple different ones. He said Dr. Oz has to do the same thing. I guess there's some guy with the same name. So anyways, awesome show. We got the brand new numbers in from last month, and they're super interesting because they're down. We kind of had the preliminaries last week. We'll dig into what they're down for the first time in a very long time. And so if you guys remember months after months, have been rising. So we'll talk about that. We did kind of predict something like this a few months back. So we'll talk about that, what that means, and kind of really dig in what the meaning is and kind of what we're going to see going forward. Also, some crazy success stories this past week as a team, as a company. We're on fire right now as a team, but it's kind of surreal, and I'll talk about those and kind of what happened, and they're super important. And we're going to get those two stories that we didn't get a chance to last week. They're very important.
Okay.
One's that basically this new National Association of Realtors data that shows why now is the time to sell from an inventory standpoint and different things. We'll dig into that. It kind of goes into what we're seeing here from our sales numbers. Also talk about the one thing that's stopping 70% of renters from buying, according to a new national study, which is super important. And we'll get into interest rates. They've been all over the place, up, down. Last week they were back up, and they're back down again. And we'll also talk to you about that one-time success school we're having in our company. Had a few actually listeners reach out, and it was eye-opening to talk with them. Basically, we're collapsing 6 months at a time into 1 week for a couple people in a class because we're in growth mode, and we'll talk about that as well.
Okay, a lot of stuff to get to, as you've heard. And if you don't know who Blake is, just tuning in for the very first time, he's been called the Real Estate Whiz Kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, NBC. You've seen him on the morning show with Fox and Friends. He's been in Realtor magazine and many other national publications. You hear the personal endorsements here on this radio station from Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Gary LeVox, also Barbara Corcoran. Put those all together, it is just unprecedented in the real estate world. Last week, we also learned a little bit about how Blake and his team work with his trademark systems to help both buyers and sellers, and he gives a little taste each and every week on how it can help you. So, Blake, let it loose.
Yes, sir, and it's so important because, like I said, everyone we sit with, it absolutely blows their mind. You hear, horror story after horror story about people, having bad experience with their agents. But the bottom line, the single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home buyer or a home seller come down to one thing only, right? The agent you choose and how they execute from A to Z. Because when you sell a house, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, right, puts money in your pocket, the property actually gets sold. If any of those are handled incorrectly, aka that ball's dropped, you leave money on the table, your hard-earned equity on the table, or the property does not get sold, which happens a lot of the time. And so what we did, we identified all those variables, like I said, which most agents don't really even know what they are, and create a system in place that creates maximum leverage at every single point, just like stacking the dominoes, right? We're creating small gaps at each one, and you add all those up, it's like, creating a massive gap between us and everyone else. And so it's called the Guaranteed Sold System. It's the only proven system to sell homes twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And for home buyers out there, we have our Unfair Advantage home buying system. There's 100 plus variables in that. They're different variables, but we do the same exact thing, right? And it stacks basically dominoes there to give our buyers, competitive advantage. Basically, some priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers. Also access to the best financing. We're always finding the most aggressive lenders who will lend the most money for the best rates, depending on what type of buyer they are. If it's a VA or if it's a first-time buyer, investor, we know who to go to who has the best programs for that. And obviously the best negotiation strategies from a purchase price using data and also through the home inspection process as well. That's our unfair advantage home buying system for buyers out there.
All right. Well, we're just getting started here on the show this week. If you'd like to get in touch with Blake, you can. Phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. And as he said, don't be confused. He's at Sloan Realty Group. And the address on the web, BlakeSloan.com. Blake, but it's SLOAN.com. BlakeSloan.com. Either way, you can get in touch with Blake to find out more about what we're talking about. What we're talking about next, we've got mortgage rates, we've got some success stories, we've got all sorts of great things coming up here in just a minute. And we'll look at what's coming up here as far as the market outlook is concerned. It's all next right here on the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity. Now, if you own property in Myrtle Beach, the national marketing plan of the realtor that you choose is absolutely critical. Now, that's exactly why you need to talk to Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group. Now, Blake has a marketing system on a whole different level than anyone else in Myrtle Beach. That's so effective at capturing local buyers from around the world that he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you agree to, or Blake's going to buy it. While most agents rely on yard signs and open houses that attract the occasional buyer, Blake attracts hundreds of buyers each month, which creates demand and helps your property sell fast and for top dollar. Now, that's why, on average, Blake sells a property every single day of the year and is ranked among the top 100 agents in the entire U.S. by the Wall Street Journal. Now, working with Blake is risk-free. Now, if you're not happy, Blake gives you the freedom to cancel your contract and pay nothing. So give Blake a call today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or just go online and see Blake's interview on NBC at BlakesGuarantee.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand that if your home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agree to, Blake will buy it. Partner with the agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
Welcome back. It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. You heard the phone number there, 808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. Don't hesitate if you're looking for the person to get your home sold. That is the phone number. Sloan Realty Group, 808-SOLD. Remember it. Coming up in just a minute, we'll look at the interest rates for the week. Let's find out now what the real estate market is looking like this week as well. Blake, what's it looking like?
All right, so almost all the data has been put in, the sales and stuff, so it's a little fully accurate now. Saying so, remember, month after month after month, we've had increase in sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost 2 years now, I think. So it's been a year and a half at least. So one of those that we're running to, we kind of knew this year everyone was jumping in early because interest rates were jumping up after the election, right? And so we huge, first and second quarter. Remember, May was really crazy, like 20% increase in sales. And so we knew we weren't sure it was going to happen in third and fourth quarter. And also we were talking about, what happens with inventory as it continues. So long story short, last month, single family resale homes, which is what the majority of the market is, right? Sales were down 2%. Okay, so the first month is not a huge deal, it's not alarming, but obviously we predict there may be a dip in that, and that's when we had a 2% decrease in sales, but it's been a long time since we've seen that. And so that's just something. Again, we're seeing inventory challenges. I've seen this in other markets. I've talked about this week after week across the country. So if you look at resales, last month they're down 2% for obviously the number of properties sold. The new construction down 3.8% last month overall. The good news for condos out there, though, condo sales for pre-owned, which is pretty much all of them, up 9.6% last month, which is good news overall. The key number, what everybody care about most, is price, right? Price is always that lagging indicator of sales and inventory. But so single-family resale homes prices last month alone 12.5% jump over the entire market. Now that doesn't necessarily mean every single house had 12.5% breaks down per micro market per zip code, which we'll do that next week. But $224,900 is median price, which is really good for the whole pre-owned resale homes. New construction prices up 2.4%, and about $245,000. That's probably one of my biggest challenges I have right now. Is any resale we're selling if there's new construction in the neighborhood, because what you're finding is a lot of new construction properties are building are kind of keeping prices artificially down in a way, or a lot of people who built maybe 2006, 2007, whatever, now they're building new homes in the neighborhood for a similar price and what they owe or have, and it's kind of a challenge. But we're very, very good at that, very, very good at differentiating, and we've been able to have a lot of success when other people can't, because obviously it takes some actual marketing there, which is important from that standpoint. So that's important to kind of look at overall. If you look at sales price for condos, for resales, they're up 8.4% last month overall, which is good. If you look at kind of the overall long-term trend, I guess you say, for like the rolling 12 months, median price for homes resales up 5.3%. So very steady, very good. You see that huge kind of jump last month as you know the inventory has gotten much lower, and also you're seeing that in regards to just kind of coming to the seasonal part. So there is that time, and I'll talk about kind of another article in a second where it just came out. The headline nationally is epic housing shortage being reported, and this came from a Harvard study that just came out from the Joint Center of Harvard Studies, and it basically came out in the State of the Nation's Home Studies. But basically, it's saying for the fourth year in a row, the inventory of home for sale across the entire U.S. not only failed to recover, but yet dropped again. It said at the end of 2016, there were historically low 1.65 million homes for sale nationwide, which at the current sales rates, 3.6 months of supply, and it's almost half the 6 months, 6.0 months in a balanced market. Luckily, right now we're at 6.1 months, and so we're pretty balanced compared to a lot of them.
Right.
But we're kind of getting to that where there's challenges, and so you do see some fatigue there. Some buyers who want to sell theirs, and we've seen this with even a couple of clients right now, and so they don't want to sell theirs, so they can't find one to buy, and so it kind of creates a stalemate on both sides, which can be a challenge from that standpoint. And so that's one thing that you don't want to continue to get that here, and that's why it's a great opportunity from a seasonal aspect to get your property sold now. And obviously, in regards to where we're fairly balanced, and it's not getting too crazy, but prices are still climbing, pretty well, and so you're able to kind of move up by the one that you want as well. So that's a quick insight to that. I'll get to that a little more if we have time in the overall part. But like I mentioned, that's something right now for resale homes, right about 6.1 months of inventory, which is good. That's down 11% where it was before last year, which is obviously what we've been rolling into. We talk about for month after month after month. So bottom line is, we're in a very hot market here in June, July, and August. It's definitely we're a seasonal market here. Everyone comes in town, buys. All of our agents are kind of fatigued, not fatigued in a way, but they got that look in their eye. They've been showing like 5, 6, 7 buyers, and every time I come in, I just have to pump them up. Hey, look, here's the deal. That's why I make the hay while the sun shines. People are in town. We got to deliver to our clients, and that's what we do. And they're just literally one of our Jeremy on our team. He's crushing it. He put 4 in a contract last week. And I think he has shown like 14, 15 houses in one day to 3 different buyers. It was like 7:30. We're both at the office, and he's just like crawling almost on the floor. But you got to kind of get in and do that. And so the bottom line, people are in town right now. So you're thinking about selling, you haven't taken action, you haven't called me yet. Definitely reach out, and give us a call at 843-808-SOLD. Market numbers are pretty good. We'll kind of dig into that, overall what we're seeing in the entire part. Days on market's down like 6.7%, which is good as well. And so that's one thing that's we're seeing overall in the marketplace, like even the entire MLS for resale homes right now getting 96.8% of asking price. That's huge. That means there's a lot of less inventory. We just put a house on the market this week in Forest Brook, and we have 5 offers on it in less than 24 hours. So that's something that we built that one up, though. We built that one up, created buzz about it, and launched it out, and it was awesome. So we'll talk about that as well. The one thing we're seeing kind of go up and down, interest rates, that's kind of been playing part. And I've talked to a few other agents who said they were talking to some buyers who were kind of holding off. We haven't really seen that yet. But long story short, right now for interest rates, a 30-year fixed rate is at 4.08%. Last week it was at 4.13%. So it dropped back down, and I'll talk about that in a second. But 15-year fixed rate, 3.35%. A 30-year FHA is 3.75%. A jumbo loan, right, anything $417,000, 4.36%. And a 5-year adjust rate mortgage, 3.21%. And so that's the one thing. If you look at the high, the last year, 4.39% is what it went up to, and is back down. And so no one really thought we'd get back to 4% rates. We're very close. And so this last week we had an awesome day. I think it was about Thursday, and then it jumped back up. Obviously, some long story short, there based some stuff from the European Central Bank. Kind of some things were leaked that they were obviously planning on decreasing their bond buying in September, and then also with Janet Yellen, the chairman of the Fed, basically testified before Congress and kind of showed more conviction that basically they're going to raise short-term rates and also have fewer bond buying, obviously, which affects the bond market. And so that's just something to keep watching. There's still great rates. Obviously, it's still going up and down. Everyone, predicts it will continue to trend back up, but who knows from that standpoint. Either way, still great opportunity for both in that aspect. And we're still, like I said, seeing hot. The challenge we're running into is inventory, right? It's one thing that buyers are trying to find stuff to look at, to find, and they're kind of some cases the stalemate's not that bad yet. So definitely make sure you take advantage of that, both on the buyer and seller side. Especially coming into our July and August, obviously we're in now.
All right, sounds good. Well, coming up in just a second, we've got more great stuff coming your way. We've got your hot buyers alert, also some fantastic success stories. And speaking of success, I'm going to see what kind of success Blake Sloan has had himself. There's some interesting things to talk about. That's all on the way in just a couple of minutes. If you'd like to get in touch with Blake, you can. All you need to do is call him at his office, Sloan Realty Group, 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to BlakeSloan.com. Blake, S-L-O-A-N, BlakeSloan.com. You are listening to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Do you want your home sold on time and for the most money without all sorts of excuses? Hi, it's Glenn Beck, and when I had to sell my home, I went through several agents who all had good ideas, but the bottom line is they couldn't get the job done. Well, you have a celebrity in your hometown. If I lived in Myrtle Beach, no question, I would call Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Blake has a marketing system that reaches buyers from around the U.S. and around the world, and week after week, he attracts hundreds of buyers, and that creates incredible demand. And that's why he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you agree to, or he's going to buy it. Plus, you don't really risk anything when you list with Blake, since if he doesn't live up to the contract, you walk away free and clear. It's really no wonder why Sean Hannity and I, along with real estate tycoon and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran, endorse Blake. Call Blake Sloan right now, 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or visit Blake's website, that's blakesguarantee.com. blakesguarantee.com. Or listen to Blake's Real Estate Show every Saturday morning at 9 or Sunday morning at 11:30 right here on WRNN.
Some great success stories coming up in just a second. First of all, your hot buyer alert now with the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Remember, you can call Blake at 808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. Blake and his team working with just a huge amount of home buyers and looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area in a big range, anywhere from $150,000 to $3.5 million. So if you're in that range and even thinking of selling, use that same phone number. Call Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group, 808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. How many people are out there looking? There's lots. A couple hundred, a couple thousand, how about tens of thousands? On his website itself, he's got 36,722 active home buyers. These are people who are coming back several times a day just so they can be the very first person looking at a brand new listing, because there's such a need for inventory. So once something gets listed, it's going to get snapped up. And Blake, it's just amazing how many people are out there.
It's crazy. Like Dave said, these are actual people with username, password, their accounts. These aren't like hits or traffic. These are the users on there who are searching. Like Dave said, it's like right now on the site, Michael Van Hook been here 21 different visits in less than 2 weeks. Gary Hensley, 63 visits. Melissa Wellner, 139 visits. And then check this out, Judy Donovan, 532 visits. So there's a lot of searching there from that standpoint. We get people from all over, like Dave talked about. We get them from, one of the kind of secrets I figured out very early, a lot of the money comes from up north, right? So we target them online. Everyone goes to one place. We all know they go to Google, right? In their phone, tablet, computer, whatever it is. So I spend a massive amount of money monthly driving traffic, right? Over $10,000 a month just driving traffic. And what we do, we get those captured, and then our team follows back up. And this also why we're doing that success school, adding on some more agents to our buyer expert team, because we have a massive amount of leads. And that's one thing I told my team this week. I said, here's the deal. I'm not taking my foot off the pedal, right? Our business model we have allows us to be able to spend more money to acquire buyer clients. If you're selling there thinking, what makes this guy different? My business model gives me the advantage. I can spend more money to acquire buyer clients based on how it's set up. And it's something that I show clients. Obviously, I don't share too many details with it, but I can literally outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint based on how it's set up. And we looked at how people did business outside of real estate, brought it there. But long story short, with that, we obviously had a huge plethora of buyer leads who we weren't basically able to call over and over and over like they need to sometimes. So I said, look, here's the deal. We're adding these people on our team, and we're having the success school because I've worked a long time to fine tune this. You're so good at marketing and bring this many buyers and all this. And I said, I'm not taking my foot off the pedal. We're still going all in with it. And so that's why we made a decision to grow the team, add more people to it. And we're super excited about that. But the bottom line is there's a huge inventory shortage. We have a huge plethora of buyers looking to buy here, not only locally, but nationally, internationally. We had, like I said, China, Dubai. I think we shared a couple weeks ago, the one from Austria we have. And so this happens over and over and over because we have such a global reach. I spend such a massive amount of money. And the thing is, if a home's out there, the key there is exposure. And that's one thing we've had a couple of people reach out to us this week that we want to be part of that success school. And the one thing I sat down there and I asked them, what's the specific plan that you have right now? to sell a house to. And no one had anything that's tangible. There's no proven system, anything like that at all. It's kind of mind blowing. So that's one of the things that we have a huge advantage over. Most of them just put MLS and let it sit there, and that's kind of our big advantage. So if you're thinking about selling, these are real buyers looking to buy. Our team's able to match up buyers and sellers. We have the technology that'll take and reverse engineer what their previous search history is and match it up to a new listing as well. So super cool stuff that's mind blowing. Whenever we sit down with a client, if you're interested in that and you kind of just even curious, reach out. I'm more than happy to kind of go through and show you, and it blows everyone's mind. We can track and see where they're at, what they do, and we're getting a lot of success with that as well. Even been working with a couple of investor builders lately. So anybody out there, we actually pre-sold their spec homes for them ASAP. Dan on my team been teaming up with me on that. We crushed that. So anyone out there, builder that may be looking for some help that has not gotten the results that you needed, reach out to me. We're definitely looking for some opportunity there to partner up and get the results that you actually want as well. And if you want, we go to the success stories.
Yeah, and before we get to that, I just want to say to everybody out there listening that we have a success story right here in this studio with us right now. Now, last week, if you're listening, you heard that the people at the Wall Street Journal and Real Trends recognized Blake Sloan as being number 160. Is that 160 in Myrtle Beach, 160 in South Carolina? No, 160 in the United States out of more than 1 million realtors ranked 160 on their list. That's from Wall Street Journal and Real Trends. So that was awesome that last week, but this week we got more accolades to put on top of it. The people from American Registry recognized Blake Sloan as being in the top 5% of all professionals nationally. Now, is that professional real estate agents? No, that's all professionals. We're talking doctors, lawyers, anybody who's a professional out there. So Blake, I mean, just like honor on top of honor here.
Thank you, man. That's one of the things, like I said, we have such an amazing team that I'm super thankful for. Obviously, I'm pretty intense and I have lots of energy. I'm obsessed with this stuff, and that one means a lot to me. Like that plaque just kind of showed up there, which is super cool. And it was kind of a surprise to me because it puts you on a different level. Like with doctors, lawyers, stockbrokers, it's all professionals. And I was doing a lot of reading on it, and I didn't apply for that. They basically found me and did it. Like I said, it's based on like media recognition, rankings, all these different things in your industry. And so super proud, super thankful that, very thankful for our clients. And it's pretty cool to do that in a small, we're kind of a small market here in Myrtle Beach, compared to like LA and Miami and big places with, they have, like I said, tens and tens of thousands of transactions every year. So super thankful to all of our listeners out there, refer people, super thankful to our amazing team of A players that we have. And also, God as well. So I'm very, very cool, very thankful about that. And I appreciate that, Dave. Like I said, congrats to my team again, coming in at 160 out of 1.2 million realtors, which is pretty awesome there for sure. And so success stories this week, amazing. I was just telling Dave, this is kind of one of the most surreal moments of my career so far. And it's kind of cool, like that feeling like, man, you kind of maybe almost kind of made it here, where we had a colleague and / competitor who I respect very, very, very highly, actually come to us to list and sell their home this week. And $500,000 home, they had it on the market. They weren't getting the exposure in the market they wanted. I thought it was super cool of them to do too. Like, hey, look, we need some help with this. We want it sold. And Lily came to us and we sat down, and I was easily able to identify some things that, we could get a ton more leverage and exposure. And it was awesome. Like I said, it was kind of, at first I wasn't sure it was like a setup at first, or anything, but we kind of went in and we just did the normal thing, showed them exactly what we do. Here's a difference. Here's kind of what we're doing before, and here's what we would do differently. And like I'm a nerd about that stuff, and like I'm very detailed about even pictures. Like I mentioned, professional photos, the best photos in the best order, because there's 25 photos online. You look at the psychology of the buyer; they search by elimination. So if you look at pictures 1, 2, 3, and 4, have to sell the buyers on looking at the other 21 pictures. And so all these things we went through, and just line by line by line. They were pretty blown away with that, and it's super cool to work with them. And that's obviously a humble move for somebody to do, and it's just so cool to see that and be able to work together with them and help get them sold as well. We'll share that property. It's actually going to go active on Monday, and super thankful about that. Also, another one that's really neat, and this goes back to what I was talking about last week. Sean, he had a house in Myrtle that was listed with another agent. No actions, no offers, super frustrated. And his dad, Ken, who may be listening, he's a listener. He actually literally brought his son, Sean, into the office, which is super awesome. And so I met with both of them, and Ken's an awesome dude. And then I got to kind of meet with Sean. And so long story short, we met with them, listed the property, did professional photos, global marketing blitz, and got it under contract this week. And we were pumped because we pumped massive traffic in. So a huge shout out to Ken Carroll for that. And for bringing his son in there. So this is like, these are cool. And that's one thing that means more than anything. This is happening more and more. Anyone out there that's listening, if you don't have anything to sell, but you have a friend or relative or whatever it is, and they mention that they're going to sell, or they did try to sell, we're having trouble, tackle them. Like I said, put them in a headlock, drag them to the office if you got to, or just simply just have them call 843-808-SOLD. And because we're on fire right now from a team standpoint. Mark also had an amazing house in the Gates. He needed a certain amount of money for it because he kind of bought it near the peak of the market. Basically owed like $300,000 on it. Had it listed with another agent who was actually, here's the other problem, was a cold caller who just cold called him out the blue. And any tip out there, if they got a cold call you, they're not real good at marketing, right? And so the bottom line there, listed, no action, came to us. He had to put a renter in there. And so long story short, we listed, hit that number he needed, higher per square foot than anything that had sold in there. But we also had the largest sale in that neighborhood last year in the Gates. We did. I did myself. And so long story short, in from that drove massive traffic, got under contract, over the $300,000 number he needed, and got him exactly what he needed. And we were negotiating that one at 9:30 last night and got the deal done. So it's one of those that, sometimes you just push the limit. And like I said, we're really good to perform that certain sandbox, and sometimes we can push it, beyond that. It's all a matter of driving the right traffic and finding the right buyer who wants it. And it's pretty cool there where he was actually going to, they had counter back like $3,000. We were $3,000 to $5,000 short, and he was going to bring some money to the table. And I said, he's like, I don't want to lose the buyers. What should we do? I said, let's just, in my gut, I said, I do hundreds of these. Let's don't give in yet. Let's go back and ask for that money that we need here to make it work. Long story short, he's like, you sure? I said, worst case, from my experience, we can at least drop back and go accept that last counter if you have to. Okay, boom, did it. Long story short, negotiated that with them, got the buyers to come up to the number that they needed, with a different agent. I had the seller, obviously. And so we put the extra money in his pocket by having that experience, by knowing that, and obviously having the data to do so. So over and over, this happened over again. Tons and tons of stuff we're doing. Doesn't matter if it's $150,000, $2 million, like I mentioned last week, did a $2 million house under contract in the Grand Dunes. We did $1.6 million on the Ocean. So if you're thinking about selling and you have not called me yet, reach out. 843-808-SOLD. And last thing, we got a minute left.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, I mentioned earlier, we're having a success school. First ever one I've done where I'm packing 6 months of our detailed knowledge into 1 week. And I have 2 spots left in that. People, if you're a realtor out there that's listening, you're licensed or thinking about getting real estate, reach out to me. We had a couple amazing meetings this week of people who called in from the show, and it blew their minds in regards to what we did, and they were super excited. So if you're thinking about getting with a team that's a winner team that's really focused on all 4 areas of life and delivering to our client, and you want to be play at a high level, reach out to me, 843-808-SOLD, or you can go right to blakesloan.com, submit on there, send me an email if you want to, right on the site. But we're definitely, that starts the 31st. It's a group of them. We're putting them to that class, and we may or may not do one in 2018. But it's the first one we're doing. I usually keep a small circle, but again, we're in a growth mode right now, and we're looking for 8 players who want to join the team and want to definitely explode their business as well.
All right, sounds good. Well, you've been listening to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. If you have any questions about what you've heard, call Blake at Sloan Realty Group at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, Blake, S-L-O-A-N, blakesloan.com. We'll do it again next week, Blake?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity. Now, if you own property in Myrtle Beach, the national marketing plan of the realtor that you choose is absolutely critical. Now, that's exactly why you need to talk to Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group. Now, Blake has a marketing system on a whole different level than anyone else in Myrtle Beach. That's so effective at capturing local and buyers from around the world that he can guarantee